Hi Aries, welcome to Yellow Card No Tarot with me. My name is Carole and this is going to be a general reading for you for January 2026. And if you're coming back for another reading, I want to welcome you and I'm hoping that you're going to subscribe this time. I know most of my listeners out there are not subscribed, so it really helps my channel grow if you subscribe. So I thank you in advance for doing that. Also, if you're brand new, please comment below to let me know that my readings are still getting out there, right? So let me know. I want to hear from you and welcome you. So, your reading. It took me a bit to decide what I was going to do. About a week ago, there was a windstorm, a snowstorm here in Eastern Canada, in this area. And it was quite scary, actually, and I felt like there was maybe something rattling on my house a bit one day. I think it went on for a couple of days, actually. But and at one point, it literally felt like there was a piece of my house being torn off, and I was so scared. My cat was there, and I mean, I wasn't really scared, but it was like, what the hell is happening? I didn't want to go outside and look. So next day I woke up. Kind of forgot about it, and I looked out my bathroom window and I could see way back in the corner this, and I just went, no, that's not what I think it is. And I thought, that's a piece of snow, it's got to be, and maybe it's off the neighbor's house, but his house has black trim. And so I thought, yeah, sure enough, it's something. So I went out and looked at my house, and a piece of my fascia was ripped off. So there's now a hole there too. So I don't know when it's going to get fixed. But I decided I'm a shamanic practitioner. So in shamanism, everything is alive. And so I can connect to anything. So I knew that this piece of fascia had a message for me. And, you know, it's no surprise that, I mean, it could have blown off. It could have flew into someone else's yard. And I probably would have forgotten about it, or forgotten to look at my house, but it was there in the back corner for me to ask him why it was there. So as I began rattling, I said, you know, why did you rip off my house? Why are you here? And I heard the message, I couldn't stay there anymore. Or couldn't stay here anymore. I wasn't quite sure, but kind of the same message where it was just like, I knew that I couldn't stay where I was. And I knew at the time, and still was, like, have been working through letting go a lot of things. And then there are things that I have worked on before, but I think it was kind of coming to a close where I felt like, okay, it's time to let these go. I can't carry them into 2026 with me. And so I thought, that's going to be a good reading for my channel. So that's what we're going to do today. I'm going to look at what situation you have been in for too long now. And you're going to know what it is. So it could be an emotion that you've been sitting with, you know, maybe depression or shame or grief, or it could be a relationship you've been sitting in for too long. It's a place in your life where you're stuck. Maybe you have an addiction. Maybe there's a pattern or a habit that you have. So it's something that you need to move on from it, right? So we're going to identify what it is, and you'll know what it is. And then we're going to look at, in part 2, I'm going to look in your unconscious, you're in your shadow. And we're going to look at, you know, what's blocking you from moving on. What is it that you finally need to get to? Could be an emotion that you've been there before, but it's like, okay, this is it, right? We're going to really dig deep here and get back to it. And then finally, we're going to look for some advice from the tarot, and that's going to really help us focus on something. And then I'll give you a suggestion for a playlist or a video at the end. Sometimes I forget it. I forget to tell you about it, but I'll give it to you anyway. And so you'll see something at the end for you. And then I'm going to pull a spirit animal card for you. I'll do that soon, and I just won't tell you what it is, but that'll be from the spirit animal pocket deck here. I'm going to be using the Curious Travels deck today, as well as AE White deck to clarify. So let's begin What situation has Aries been in for too long? One card for that. You have the Page of Pentacles. I will say in this reading that pages have been coming up often. What's blocking you from moving on, Aries? One card. King of Cups. And advice from the tarot. One card for that. This has to be my favorite, as I said, that I spit out 3 cards, deck for shuffling. Okay, 3 of Cups, the Knight of Cups, and the Moon card. And the Knight of Cups and the Moon card are in reverse. So we have a lot there to work with. Okay. Let's start off with the, I'm going to pull your spirit animal card right now. I just won't tell you what it is. That's too many. All right. You start off with what situations you've been in for too long. Well, there's an inner child of yours that's needing to be healed. And it's the Page of Pentacles right here. This inner child of yours is about 4, 5, 6 years old. And it's been pulling on your pant leg for a long time. And it has, our inner children can hold our trauma, they can hold memories, they can hold big emotions. And they're the ones that did this for us when we were younger and we couldn't do it ourselves. And so the Page of Pentacles in particular is about, like the pentacle itself is about your body, right? And in particular, the pentacle is the, it's like the ground, it's a grounding sign. And so this particular child wants to bring peace to you through your grounding, right? By you getting back into your body and to start to really get a sense of feeling grounded, right? So I think that there's a need for some centering, some grounding in your life, some peace, some calm, some stillness. Some real stillness in your life. And you're going to do that by getting in contact with this page of yours, this inner child that needs healing. And so we have to, first of all, hear what they're saying. We have to feel their big emotions. We have to know what sort of memories they have that they want to connect, they want to tell us about. Okay, so I'm going to get some more information about the page, and in particular, I want to know, you know, sort of what is this information in particular? Is it something to do with trauma? Is it memories? Is it are the emotions maybe that it's carrying that it needs you to feel? So let's have a couple cards. It's funny that the last thing I said was, are the emotions it wants us to feel? And you got the 10 of Cups. I can laugh because it answered my question. I'll tell you in a minute. One more card, please. Maybe the 10 was it. Okay. So I laughed because the 10, I said maybe it's what you need to feel, you know, because they hold big emotions, our inner children. Well, you got the 10 of Cups, which is the full range of emotions. It's like, I want them to feel everything. And so I'm seeing here that, you know, maybe you're somebody that's just not really wanting to feel your emotions, right? And you need to start feeling your emotions. That's what's going to heal. That's what heals us. And we can only go through them. We can't go around them. We can only feel them, and that's what heals it here. Because feeling these emotions that you're sitting in right now that you have been blocking or numbing out has kept you in this I'm going to say like this prison almost, right? See this in an upright position. This is the Four of Wands, and this is the victory card of these people walking away from this walled city. These wands right here. Normally wands, like they have little buds at the end. They're growing, they're sprouting, they want to go. They have this creative energy, right? This energy that wants to go into the direction or purpose. But this is in reverse. Because it's almost like you've put yourself in a real prison or a jail. It's like, I don't want to feel these emotions. And that's why you've got this pentacle, this page of pentacle, like I said, it's all about grounding. That's what the need for you to ground for is. There's a real big need for you to go back to get back into your body, to discover what your body is, right? Because there's emotions in there. When we continue to be led by our mind only, well, we don't touch our emotions. And that's why a lot of us walk around in our head, because we know that if we go down into this body, this is where the emotions are. And it's a dangerous place for a lot of people. But it really is a time for you now to start to feel, is what the message that I'm getting here. And so you're having to let go of blocking or defending, or, I could just picture you, that Four of Cups card, where that individual is sitting there going, I don't want to feel anymore. I've had enough. I'm done. Maybe you're somebody that's sworn off of healing. It's like, I'm healed already, or I don't want to do it anymore. I've done it already and there's no way I'm touching it. But it's like, that's sort of like that attitude of, I'm not doing it anymore. That's what you have to let go of. It's like, okay, it's time to heal now. So I did say in one of my readings that 2026 would be probably a time for a lot of us where we're going to be healing. So in your shadow, I'm going to look at, this is the unconscious part of you. Why are these emotions blocked? Like, why have you been for too long now saying, I don't want to touch these? Because it's something to do with your childhood here. So the first card that came up is the King of Cups. And the cups, again, are our emotions. So who's the king? Well, the king is our masculine side. We all have a feminine side and we have a masculine side. And we'll touch a bit on the feminine side when we get to the moon card. And it has nothing to do with our gender. The whole point of the Fool's Journey is to bring our masculine and our feminine side into balance. And so when you were younger, your masculine side was very strong, which meant that your ego, which is a protector part of us, and that's who protects us when we're younger. When we, for some reason, and I'm going to ask for some clarification, when we learn that our emotions are a dangerous thing when we're younger, when we're told to put our anger away, when we're told we're sucky babies because we're crying, or, whatever it is those emotions that we're told we're not allowed to have, or if things happen to us when we were younger, or trauma, and we just didn't have the support from people. There's some big emotions that are attached to that. And so we weren't able to feel them. And that's why our inner children are the ones that will take on those big emotions that we couldn't feel when we were younger. And so your ego self would have come out when you were younger and pulled you right out of your body and put you up in your head, so that it's a protector part, so that you didn't have to feel, because we couldn't feel when we were younger. These things that happen with big emotions, we're just not able to feel them. And so literally we could have died. Like we just couldn't feel those emotions. And so this is your protector part. So when you were younger, explains that you definitely had a lot of emotions that you didn't deal with, that you didn't have the support when you were younger. And so let me get some clarifiers on this. Maybe you explain why your ego self came out and pulled you out of your body and put you right in your mind so you didn't have to feel. And here's the thing about this, your ego self. It's still there. We all have it. And it believes that you're still in childhood. It doesn't know that you're an adult now. It still thinks you're a child. So when these emotions are coming out, guess what happens? Your ego self will push them back down and go, no, you can't go there. They're dangerous. Don't you remember what happened when you tried to feel these emotions? But we have to train our ego, and it's like, no, I want to heal. I'm an adult now. I can feel these emotions. So a couple cards here. Oh, okay. So you got a major arcana card, the Star card in reverse, and then the Page of Cups. Well, the Star card, first of all, is in an upright position. It's a beautiful card of this angel. And guess what it's doing? It's dipping its toe into this water. Water's all about our emotions. And it's a big major arcana card. And this represents healing of feeling our emotions. That's how we heal. Well, it's in reverse. And so you had all these big emotions that remained unhealed in your body. And here's another page. Now, again, pages are inner children. This is the second one. And can we have more than one page? Absolutely. We can have more than one inner child. I've been on my own healing and journey intensively for about 8.5 years for my own complex trauma. And I can tell you I have more than one inner child because they hold big memories and emotions. And so this Page of Cups is a very, very important page. Out of all the 4 pages in the deck, this is the most important page right here. And this little guy is what I call, because he has the cup of love in his hand. So he's very powerful. His love backing him up. And so there's a part of you, an inner child, that I call my little love seeker. And it's the one that is desperately seeking to get that love back from anybody. It believes that there's a savior that's going to come along and save them. And so the fact that this little card came up, he's very important. I'm going to say he's probably the most important card on the table. This little love seeker here. I'm going to say that, you probably are someone that invites all the wrong people in your life, and you can't understand why these toxic people keep showing up in your life. We can go from person to person to try to get that one savior, that one person that's going to give us all that love that we didn't get. We're desperately seeking love. And so that's going to show up in all of our relationships, all of them. Yeah. So there are definitely some emotions you need to get to, because this little part of you, that person that wants love, that inner child, needs healing. You have 2 inner children here. This is very much an inner child reading for you. It needs a lot of healing. But in order to do that, you have to get back in your body, and you have to ground yourself to feel some of these emotions. And so what's the advice from the tarot here? Well, the first card that comes out is the 3 of Cups. And I'm going to say you have you have 2 cup cards, and then you have Moon. All 3 of these cards are beautiful feminine energy. The cups suit themselves is about emotions, right? That's very feminine, to feel your emotions. Well, the first card you get is the 3 of Cups, and 3 is like I said, it's a co-creative number. They're celebrating their feminine part of them. And the feminine, and I think there's a big need for you here. I talked about the masculine and the feminine here. So I'm going to say, like I said, I think you're very much up in your head. You're run sort of by your mind, but there's a real pull here for you to get back into your body so you can get in touch with that feminine side to you, which is, a big part of that feminine side are your emotions, and to feel them. And the next part is the Knight of Cups. And this is the part of you, I call it a freedom fighter. It wants freedom. It wants authenticity. It's going to fight for that. And we all have that in us, that part that wants that freedom. And because it has a cup in its hand, I'm going to say it's that part of you that wants to have authentic relationships, authentic love. And because you have this love seeker, this little inner child of yours that is not healed, and it is the one that's continuing to invite these toxic relationships into your life, there's a part of you that is desperate for authentic relationships and authentic love. But this is in reverse here. And so this tells me that you may have some ungrounded anger that you need to get at. I talked about some emotions that you might need to get at. And I think this is the first one probably that's identifying itself here. I know myself, I had a love seeker. I have a love seeker. We all have a love seeker. And I needed to get to some real anger that was sitting inside of me. And you know that you have ungrounded anger if you find yourself getting angry at the wrong people and at the wrong times. And for me, in order to get at my anger, to ground my anger, I had to write from it. I had to journal from my anger. It was very difficult for me to do because my anger was one of those emotions that I was not allowed to feel when I was younger. And so maybe you sit in ungrounded anger, or maybe you're sitting in maybe some depression sometimes. That can come as well. And then here's another feminine part, a feminine quality actually, is the Moon card. And it's in reverse because the Moon card represents our intuition. And again, this is a major arcana card. It's a very big energy here. And so the universe wants you as well to get in touch with your intuition. And your intuition is a feminine quality, first of all, but it's your inner guidance. It's just that knowing, that gut knowing. And it's a beautiful gift to have. Everybody has it, but we're not all in touch with it. And the reason why it's blocked right now, because it's in reverse, but the reason why it's blocked is because you're not in your body. And so there's a real heavy feminine pull here where the universe is trying to get you out of your mind and back into your body so that maybe you can heal some of that anger or that depression you're feeling. I'm going to pull one more card just to see what it wants to say for one last thing here. But I think I got a pretty idea. Last reading I asked for one card and they gave me 4. So I'm hoping it's just going to give me 1. Here we go. Yeah, you have the King of Cups. Well, this is your... Oh, this makes a lot of sense. Okay, so we talked about the King because it's the King of Cups again, right? So here was the King of Cups was in your shadow, but now it's come out again. So what's going to happen is, and it's reminding you, because I did say that you're very much in your head and your ego self will block your emotions. And I'm not sure if I said it, but your ego self is petrified of emotions. It's a very, very scared part. And because you learned when you were a child not to touch emotions because they're dangerous, especially anger is a big one that we often aren't allowed to feel. And so this ego self right here, and he's the one right here with the emotions, he's petrified. And it's going to come out again. And it's going to tell you, don't you dare. It's going to try to keep you up in your head. He's going to say, don't go to these emotions. They're dangerous. Don't go there. It reminds me of the robot on Will Robinson. I know I'm dating myself, but he's like, danger, danger, danger. Don't go there. And that's what this ego self was going to say, because it still thinks that you're a child, but you're not. And so I'm going to leave you with, for this reading, before I read your spirit card here, I'm going to leave you with, it's really important that you learn how to ground yourself. And there's a couple videos I'm going to leave you with, and one of them, I bring you into my backyard and I teach you how I ground myself. And it's so important to learn that, because I'm going to tell you why. Because you need to know what it feels like to be grounded, not numb in your body. Your King of Cups will make you feel numb. It'll tell you everything's just fine when it's your ego self is, you're still up in your head saying you're fine. But I want you to know what it feels like to be truly grounded in your body. It doesn't mean Zen, because when we're grounded, that means we're going to feel some emotions, right? And so I want you to know what it feels like to be grounded, and when you become ungrounded. You got to know the difference between those two, because when you're ungrounded, you're going to be going, I got to go get grounded, right? And so what did you get for your spirit animal? You got koi fish spirit. There is always enough. The koi fish, who grows big within a small pond, reminds us that within each of us is the potential for prosperity. The law of abundance ensures that prosperity is our natural state. So regardless of temporary outer conditions, you can call in prosperity and magnetically, I was thinking it was magnificently, but I was like, no, it's magnetically attract the opportunities and abundance you need. The message of koi fish spirit is to begin to generate wealth within, with deliberate intention, no matter how small your pond may seem, and appreciate abundance wherever you see it. Now, for me, I see that your abundance within is going to be you getting back into your body. And that's when you're going to start from there, when things are going to start to change. Amazing reading for you, Aries. I want you to have compassion for yourself for what you're going through. The healing journey is a very difficult journey, but it's the most important one. So take care. I'll talk soon. Bye.